while your day is winding down. They're just getting started. This is South Coast Tonight with Chris McCarthy and Marcus Farrow. They've got you covered on all the news of the day, from local issues to politics on both sides of the aisle. This is the place where the movers and shakers come to be heard, to listen, and where they're held accountable. This is South Coast Tonight on WBSM.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Chris McCarthy. As always, Marcus Farrows is here as well.
Hey.
So we're taking your phone calls at 508-996-0500.
We got to make that announcement. We told we were going to make it at the beginning of every hour.
Every hour. Go ahead, Marcus.
So, on October 19th, 7 o'clock on October 19th, in the year of our Lord, 2022, it's from the intercom it's saying, from the year of our Lord, 2022, we have the sheriff's debate.
Yes.
The first of two sheriff's debates. And it's between Bristol County Sheriff Tom Hodgson and Attleboro Mayor Paul Heroux. And they're going to be in here together in close quarters. And we're going to be here for 2 hours. The first hour, they're going to be asking each other questions.
Right.
And we're going to ask them questions. The second hour, you get to ask them questions. You get to ask a question of Sheriff Hodgson, Mayor Heroux, or both. Not all three, not one or two. You get to pick one. You're going to ask Heroux a question, or you're going to ask Hodgson a question, or you're going to ask both a question. But during that entire 2 hours, we are going to be commercial-free.
Thanks to our sponsors.
Thanks to our sponsors, we're able to go commercial-free on this one. And trust me, I like having breaks in my show, but I knew for production value, for the flow of the conversation, and for the good of the people who deserve to hear their sheriff candidates uninterrupted, that we couldn't go with commercials.
Right.
We had to go commercial-free. So we're going commercial-free. That's going to give us a lot more time to have in-depth discussions, if that's... in-depth discussions. I'm
right.
air quoting in-depth discussions because I don't know where the conversation's going to veer between the two candidates. But it's going to give you more time to call in
right.
and ask them questions, and me more time to let your call maybe go a little bit longer if I like it.
Depends.
It depends.
Actually, Marcus shouldn't even say that because they'll just add to their preamble, right? No preambles.
Keep it tight.
Keep it tight.
You're not going to get one over on them. I remember actually one time there was somebody. Bill Keating did a town hall type meeting at UMass Law, okay. Right? And I was there. I'd already graduated at that point, but I was there, and he knew ahead of time actually that there was these people that were going to remember when somebody primaried him at some point?
Yes.
I think,
Yes.
I guess, and they were going to ask him all kinds of crazy gotcha questions, and a few people did. He stood up there and he answered them fully and completely. You know, like, why did you vote against this bill that would have, whatever, would have given everybody a cell phone, or I don't know, made food stamps better or something, Right. And I'm supportive of those things, trust me, but it was like these crazy questions. Why'd you vote against this? Why'd you vote against that? They were trying to pin him down. And he was very easily like, well, I did because in that bill there was this, and I'm supportive of this because the cranberries or whatever.
Right.
And you could see each of them walk away with such defeat, right?
Just because you're not prepared doesn't mean they're not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, and it was like he's a great congressman, he's a great statesman, and he's doing his job well, but there's a small faction of people that are always going to think you're not doing your job well.
Right.
But so they were trying to get one over on him, and I saw him just take them down artfully one by one, because you don't get to the point where you're an elected official at a high level of government without running into people like that.
Right. And without thinking through your policies. I mean, but that said, Marcus, we do want to encourage you and have you try, okay?
Yeah.
So I will say this, not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think the sheriff's race, you've had an opportunity to talk to all the candidates on the Democrat side. Mm-hmm. We had the debates here. It was
the only debate.
Right? The other day, we had Tom Hodgson. He stayed here for 2 hours.
Yep.
We're going to have Paul Heroux tomorrow. Monday.
Yeah.
Paul Heroux will be here for 2 hours on Monday.
Well, what's interesting is tomorrow, tomorrow there's a canvas kickoff for Paul Heroux, hosted by Kim Driscoll. And so I think some members of the city council, I know the mayor was on the schedule as well, and maybe some members of the state delegation too. But there's a canvas kickoff tomorrow, and then she's going to Chowderfest. So that's pretty interesting. But yeah, he'll be in Monday, and he'll take your calls, same as Hodgson, and it'll be a lot of fun.
I'd be curious to see which members of the city council show up.
Yeah, me too.
To do that.
That's what I've heard, that there's some members of the city council that
I'm sure someone will be taking attendance.
508-996-0500 is how you can get in the program. Hey, good evening. You're live.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, my friend.
Hey, my friend. How are you?
Good.
How you feeling? Good?
I feel good. I do. Thank you.
You sound good. I can tell you that, okay? All right. The other night when I was on with you, I was watching, the city council, a meeting from September the 20th, okay, 2022, all right? And I know you guys are, very involved in the sheriff's race and stuff, and maybe you don't have your ear as close to the ground as you normally do.
Okay.
But in this, city council meeting I had on, the councilors were upset that they said that many of our department heads are leaving and deserting the ship, so to speak. Now, I know you guys feel that Mayor Mitchell is out of here, although you haven't come right out and said it. As soon as Healy gets elected, he's gone, okay? Am I correct or not?
Well, I think there's a lot of rumor to that effect.
Okay.
I think that it's rumor, it's speculation,
All right.
but we think that there's a good chance.
Okay, so why are these department heads leaving? It was Renee Abbott Fernandez, is it?
Yeah, she's the treasurer, right?
Yeah, she's the treasurer. She was leaving because she said she needed more money and she could get more money. I think it was in Middleborough. I was one ear on you guys and one ear on that. Okay.
Well, that's why she's leaving. That's why a lot of departments heads are leaving, and it's in the city council ordinance committee right now. An ordinance to raise the pay for department heads.
So that's what I wanted to ask the caller. Is that what they were debating? The ordinance to raise the pay?
I believe so.
Okay.
They wanted a sort of bypass so they could do it because it was past the time. But two of the councils in particular, Mr. Gomes and Miss Morad, kind of took question with that. And they said that they were leaving because of the way they were being treated more than anything else. Now, I don't know why the mayor would treat him poorly, especially if he's leaving. But what do you guys know about this or not know about it?
I mean, how you get paid is part of how you get treated, right? And I think if you're not getting treated, like they left because they were going to make more money. I don't think they left because
you're making it simple. That's not what the councilors said.
I don't think they're. I think that's.
So I don't have any information that they don't have, or that they do have.
The councilors said
I don't know
that it was the demeanor, basically. I'm using the word demeanor, with which they were dealt with when they talked to the used to be the corner office. Now it's the office above. So have you guys had your ears to the
I think
ground?
it's easy. I think it's easy to take any proposed ordinance by the mayor and then use it as an opportunity to beat him up. But I know that Council President Abreu's come out in favor of this, right? I know that there's other city councilors, Councilor Dunn, it's in his committee. I know he's in favor of this too. It makes a lot of sense.
In favor of the money, or
in favor of the money?
The big question I've had is about the demeanor that was used to them when they talked to what was the corner office, and now it's the office from above through Scott Lang. Again, the feeling of the councils were these people would even stay here if they were treated more fairly by the mayor.
I don't know.
What have you guys heard?
I don't know what isn't.
I've never heard that before.
I've never heard that before.
Okay. So you think it's just a political thing?
Yes.
They want to give John Mitchell a boot in the Paducah before he goes out the door?
I would really need to see some specifics.
Yeah.
Before, 'cause that is such an abstract thing, easy to say, right? Like, it's not about the money. We don't have to give them more money. It's about the fact that they don't get. I mean, that to me.
Well, they seem to indicate to me that in private conversations, off the record, that's what they were being told. And that could be, Blarney, you know what I'm saying? But that's what they were coming out with. And again, I was just wondering if it seems, again, the mayor is, from what you guys are saying, and I hold your words to be true, out of here. Once Healy gets elected, there'll be a job for him, and he'll be moving on, which I don't blame him in a way. I kind of feel badly that he didn't run for lieutenant governor because he is a former prosecutor there, and what is the mayor of Salem got over him, who's now the lieutenant governor nominee for the
Mayor of
Democrats?
Salem is a force, man.
Yeah, but what is Salem as far as is Salem as big as New Bedford?
Not in terms of population size, but in terms of development.
It's got more ghosts.
Well,
It's got more
they got
ghosts.
more ghosts. Don't talk to Spooky about that. He'll tell you something differently.
Right. Actually, you're right about that. I would say this, that first of all, I think when Marcus and I talk about John Mitchell leaving, we say it as a compliment, right? That when Healy goes to put her team together,
I'm sure he'll be pursued. Right?
Yeah,
no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, but as far as that, people don't feel like they're leaving because they don't get along with the mayor. Well, you know what? If you don't get along with the mayor, you should leave. Right? Because he's the one who got elected.
Put you there, basically.
Yeah, he's the one that got elected. He's the one that hires you.
You didn't get elected. That's the problem with all those people at Trump, right? Who went to Washington with Trump and then decided they wanted to be president, right?
Right, yeah.
But if he asked you to be here and then you come to him with a problem, and this is the way the councilors put it, he demeans the people that he has to be here. And that's the word I'm using. Doesn't seriously listen to them. I'll put it that way. Why would you do that?
I mean, the buck stops at him again. It's the same thing. The buck stops at him. He's the one that makes the decisions.
Yeah, but again, if Marcus, if when you came on, if Chris would have demeaned you,
but here's
in
the thing.
conversation,
Chris demeans me all the time. So here's the thing. He does it all the time. Yeah, no, he does it. Didn't you hear him call me a woman last week? So
it was subtle.
It wasn't subtle at all. You literally said it. No, here's the thing. We're on air. We're talking about this. We're talking about whether or not the mayor may or may not be unfair or treat his employees unfairly or his department heads unfairly, and it's all based on. Hold on, it's all based on testimony from city councilors who very publicly don't like the mayor. And I think this conversation has achieved what they wanted from that testimony. I haven't heard anything else about department heads not liking Mayor Mitchell or disagreeing with him or feeling that they've been treated badly, so they're leaving. We all do know, and the mayor said it himself, and it's weird that he's treating these people apparently so unfairly, but he wants to pay them more. He wants them to be paid more, but at the same time, I guess doesn't like them. Right. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, that's a good point there.
Yeah.
The other thing I like to in another issue, isn't it kind of crazy in a way that we are going to allow a methadone clinic in New Bedford, but we can't get a legal marijuana sales shop.
Very good example. I know that was brought up on other shows today. It was brought up on other shows today that the zoning was so restrictive on the marijuana clinics, marijuana dispensaries, that you can't have that, but you can have a methadone. Now, by the way, we don't know that there is going to be a methadone clinic downtown.
Well, the buck stops there with the mayor, too, because to me, the mayor's throwing a lot of roadblocks in front of these guys, so they couldn't put marijuana in here, legal. Right. And again, illegal, you got, probably New Bedford is fentanyl city,
Yeah.
Again, it's looking at the city through rose-colored glasses, so to speak. But he will be off, I guess, in the future, and working with Governor Healy, and we'll see who.
At the very least, even if he doesn't get the job with Healy, I don't know if he just runs for another 4-year term. That's the thing. He's up for another 4. Next year, he's up for another 4-year term.
Yeah, you guys don't believe in that, neither do I. 4-year terms.
It's ironic, right? Maybe he brought in the 4-year term, he and his team, and probably doesn't like it anymore.
Yeah, right.
I would agree. It's going to get maybe 3, but you guys said no, 2 would be right. And
2.
Yeah, I think so too, because you get interest in elections, and you get to have some sort of what do you call it?
It's more accountability. More accountability.
Yeah, check and balance on the mayor. There's no doubt about it, because it is the strong form of government there, as far as I know. And I guess there's a mayor in Rhode Island that the city council is kicking out.
Oh, yeah.
Woonsocket.
Yeah. And I don't think you could do that here if you
can't
with the mayor.
You can't. You
can do it in Fall River.
You can try to do it in Fall River. Hey, listen, I got to take this next call. I appreciate the call.
Thanks.
Remember, I wrote that column.
Right.
I wrote that. It was a kick-ass column. I'm not going to lie. It was a great column on how the city council didn't have the legal authority to remove the mayor based on the laws that were written. The charter was written. I ended up being right about that. 508-99.
And it's still available at WBSM.com.
You can still read it. 508-996-0500 is how you can get on the program. Good evening. You're live.
Yes. Are you talking about they want to increase in certain jobs, management jobs?
Yes.
I came in just a bit. That hasn't been approved yet, has it?
No, it's in the ordinance committee right now.
Good. Yeah, thank God. Hopefully they shut this down.
Why?
That's a joke. Because they want to give city workers 1% raise, and you're going to go up 13% on management.
Yeah. Well, how much do you think city?
Here's scraps. Whoa! If you're going to raise them 13%, make it even. Don't bring everyone up.
You're saying the discrepancy between the management and the guy actually working the shovel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why should the guy, everyone knows New Bedford is not the highest paying workers that are work out there.
Yes.
They don't get a ton of money. We're one of the lowest. I think Fall River's lower than us, but one of the lowest around.
Yeah.
Go look at other cities. It's way more. And, okay, we're going to get a lawyer? Oh, let's pay them more money. And then you got people that work on the roads and work. Oh, we're going to give you 1% and you'll like it with 8% inflation.
Right.
So if you're not going to give us, people that work for the city, if you're not going to give those people to meet inflation, why are you going to give management who are already making hundreds of thousands of dollars? Oh, let's give you a 13% raise. Oh, that works out good. That's fair.
You know what? I don't disagree with you. I think that's a good concern to raise to the city council when they hold the ordinance meeting. I can find out exactly what that is.
That if there's enough money, that it might make more sense to more evenly distribute that money along the workforce.
And then you'd get more people. You'd get more workers and more department heads.
Yeah, I mean, everyone says about the haves and the have-nots. Well, let's make the people making the more money get more money, and the people on the bottom, 1%, like it. You lost 7% with inflation. It's just ridiculous. Yeah. He cannot leave fast enough. I hope Maura Healey gets elected immediatly. So see you later, buddy.
Thank you for the call.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate it.
So, Marcus, I will say this, that, maybe you've had this experience here at Fairhaven. Towns are always looking for good employees. The city of New Bedford, they get their employees poached all the time.
All the time. Well, they had to do a hiring freeze at the police station,
right? Because
they were all going to Taunton.
Yep.
And in fact, actually, for some reason, Taunton does a good job treating their officers well, or something, because a lot of people are going to Taunton. But yeah, they had to do not a hiring freeze, a transfer freeze. A transfer freeze at New Bedford because they were all going to Taunton. So. And I know we've gotten some very very valuable employees from New Bedford over here in Fairhaven, including our superintendent.
I can tell you, Lakeville. You folks familiar with the Aaron Burke, who's been on the show a lot. Aaron Burke, who he was a selectman in Lakeville for years. They got an employee, a highway department guy from New Bedford. I think it became their highway superintendent.
Yeah. They got Ari Sky too.
They got Ari Sky as well, right? Right.
They got Ari Sky too.
He told me they couldn't have imagined how good of an employee this guy was going to be.
Yeah.
Right? And how much the guy likes working in Lakeville.
Yeah.
Right? The guy really enjoys Lakeville, and he really enjoys working with him, and they really enjoy having the guy.
Our superintendent over here in Fairhaven, Vinny Furtado, is an absolute rock star.
Absolutely.
He is the best. He is smart. He's hardworking. He's just so dedicated to it too. Anytime I have an issue, give him a call, and he's immediately on it. Just an absolute rock star.
You can see the way.
And he's from New Bedford.
You can see the way. That's
He was a higher up in New Bedford. He could have probably been the superintendent there by now, but he's over here in Fairhaven, and he's killing it.
And you can see by the way his guys work.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly guys. I only ever seen men out there. When they're out there working, like this time of year where they have to clear all the leaves, get ready for the snowstorms, things like that. they are on top of it. Like you said, Mark, he's a rock star. And, you don't like...
And we hire department heads. We have control over it because at Fairhaven, everything's compartmentalized.
Right.
I'm always saying, pay this person... Let's just pay this person as much as we can right now, honestly. Because the line item in the budget, frankly, when you're thinking salary-wise on a $10 million annual budget, is negligible, and we're going to get somebody competent. So let's just do it. That's the way I always do it.
So, as I've learned from my time in management, things like that, it's a lot easier to keep a good employee than to find a new one, okay? Because it's always trial and error with someone who's out there on the pavers right now, right? Generally, if they're available, there's a reason. Not always, but often there is a reason. And if you've got a person who works out and does pretty well, and at the end of the day, they just want a little more money or a little more vacation, you're better off for your overall mission to hold on to that person.
Yeah.
All right? And to motivate them. But again, as we were talking about, the city of New Bedford is having their employees poached. Yeah. Firefighters, police officers, management people. The work conditions, and maybe that's what the caller meant, not so much the interaction with the mayor. And again, we're flying blind in that because we didn't see the conversation. But maybe they meant the work conditions, some of the things. I know this highway guy who went to Lakeville. It was about some of the things they were forced to do when they would say working in the parks, things like that. I don't know what the mayor would do about it. It wasn't the mayor. It was about just general overall. It's nicer to work in Lakeville than it was to work in the city. And sometimes it doesn't matter how much they pay you. I'll give you an example more. When it came time for me to re-enlist in the Army or to move on, it really wouldn't have mattered what they paid me because I had moved on in my life. I didn't want to do forced camping anymore. So I decided to move on, right? And that was good for me. It was good for everybody. But anyway, the point of the matter is that that caller who called in about saying, hey, if they're going to give all this money to management, what about us?
Yeah, I agree.
It's pretty hard to stay motivated when there is maybe that much discrepancy between the pays. Again, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he seemed pretty sincere.
Yeah. And knowledgeable on the topic.
Right.
All right. Hey, listen, I got to take a break. We'll be back.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the South Coast tonight.
Marcus, what's going on, buddy? We got some calls.
I'm not the one who numbered the mics, okay? 508-996-0500. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
So during the pandemic, they didn't have any vaccination sites in this area, and then they got they flipped the old Circuit City building into a site for vaccinations.
Right.
And that place had been empty for, I don't know, a long, long time.
Right.
And so they had to get it all ready. So I don't know if the state paid for it. I don't know how that worked.
That was the state, yeah.
That was the state. So they got it all up and running, the bathrooms and whatever needed to be done in there. They had to lay new flooring in and whatever. They just recently got it all set. And then it was open for a short period of time. Everybody got whoever got their doses, and then it was shut down. I was thinking, seeing as there's 2 methadone clinics in New Bedford, not that I'm necessarily decided, but I don't think I'm opposed to it. But why wouldn't this company look into, or this business, whatever it is, look into something like that that's ready to basically just, I think it would be ready to just open the doors and go?
It's a good question. Marcus, it may be that New Bedford is considered more hospitable, say, than Dartmouth?
Probably.
I would imagine that if you tried to put...
And probably more centrally centrally located for people who need methadone.
Right.
Frankly.
Right, but if there's already 2 clinics here and none in Dartmouth, I don't know about Westport or Fall River. I don't know what other places have them, so it might be more centrally located because, like what you were saying, people are coming to this area. So maybe the people that are further west might need a little something. But also,
I'm assuming there's clinics in Fall River
there
too.
There is. It's right on Presidential Avenue.
Yeah.
Star.
So if you're in Westport, you're probably going there.
But I think when they did the
I had a lot of clients.
vaccination, they put it there and said it was right on the, like a bus route. It was like easily accessible to people from different areas.
Right.
So, I mean, if for some reason it comes down to people are opposed to it here, I don't know. I thought that would
no. I think you're making some good points. Marcus and I think we were talking off the air about the fact that in my opinion, just given what I saw going on at the Gifford Street methadone clinic a few years ago, having a larger facility that would allow you to have people wait inside, it would be limited, but it wouldn't be on. It would be limited privacy. It wouldn't be on Right now, they're basically going to be like on display, right? On standing on the highway, standing on Union Street. Okay, you're basically on display, which I think is not conducive to treatment. So I think if you had a big building like Circuit City, again using your example, and you could queue them up inside, that's probably a better facility. But I would say this again: given the zoning, given Dartmouth, they probably would be more resistant than even the folks in New Bedford.
People dying in Dartmouth too. There are people addicted and dying every day, everywhere. So I would
there's
think
no doubt about it, ma'am. There's no doubt about it, but you'd still have to get it past probably the zoning board. Okay.
And what kind of stuff goes on in the clinics? Do they counsel people, or do they just get a shot and leave?
I think they just get methadone and leave.
So here's what I know, and I'm not an expert, and I certainly can be corrected on this. My understanding is people go there on a daily basis to get it because you got to take it every day once you get on methadone. That's one of the things about it. You got to go every day.
Oh, every single day.
If you don't, you go into withdrawal.
Yeah.
Now, again, I could be corrected, but I believe that's what it is.
Yeah. It's
pretty rough stuff to get off. I know that, of what I've been told. There is a counseling piece to it as well. One of the things years ago, Health and Human Services Department, the Center for Health and Human Services got in trouble because they supposedly were not offering the kind of counseling they were billing the state for. So there is counseling as well, but you have to take that dose every day.
So they got to go there, either get a shot or you were calling it a cocktail drink or
whatever. It's a drink. Yeah.
So whatever they have to do, they can't dose themselves. They can't just get a week's worth. They have to go there every day.
I believe you have to be licensed to distribute medicine like that.
So
it's called passing medicine.
I think there are some people who maybe they can get it for the week. I don't know, but it seems to me they got to go every day.
It's probably pretty highly regulated.
Yeah, it's very highly regulated.
Yeah, pretty highly regulated. You'd probably be licensed to pass the medicine.
Right, because I just thought that building was big enough to have maybe some counseling services or referral services, or it seems to be like a big building. But I thought, okay, just my thought.
It's a great point.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. 508-996-0500. Got a couple calls on the line. Good evening. You're live.
Hey, good evening, guys. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, sir.
My view on methadone is all methadone is legalized, regulated heroin. It should be a step down program, but it's planned for people to be on for the rest of your life. If you're on it for 4 or 5 years, it's not working. All you're doing is you're addicted to another drug, and It's a legalized form of heroin. And they should, in this country, do some sort of a step-down program where you taper off of it through counseling or whatever. But there are people that have been on it for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
If you're on it for 10 years, it's not working,
I mean, they can stay on for 10 to 20 years. The thing is if it's not heroin though. So if you're on it and you can stay on it for 20 years sustainably, then sometimes that might be as long as you need to get that treatment. There's people struggle with addiction their entire lives.
I get it. It's hard, but you just keep giving it to them. And it's not heroin, and I don't mean it in a form of heroin, but it's a legalized drug. It's
big time.
Drug, and you can't go without it. Yeah. And I know they want you to be on that stuff for the rest of your life, where you can get off of that. People can get off of that, but you've got to start by slowly stopping. And it's sad, but people's lives are just, all I know is it's just another form of addiction,
I don't disagree with you. I will say this. I had a friend of mine, actually, I didn't know him when he was a drug addict, but he's told me all about it. And He was a dangerous guy, but he told me. But he went into it. He went into treatment. He
By the
volunteered.
way, I think it might actually be twice a day.
Twice, really?
Yeah.
He told me. He said he was on methadone. This is a guy who was shooting heroin, right? But he said he did. He said, "Look, I'm getting off this stuff." He went to treatment. He made the decision, and he said he was on methadone for 3 weeks while he got adjusted, right? And because he said, "I don't want to be on this stuff." He said, "I got to get you got to get off it right away, or else you're just on it, right?" And he wanted to get on with his life. He wanted to go in business. He's been a very successful guy. He's a real great story, right? But it's only because he'd done a whole lot of horrible things beforehand. He decided he was going to change his life. But he got off the methadone because he said to me, "You can't really live that way. You can't live on methadone. You got to because you got to be there every day, and they got counseling, and they got." It just takes over your life unless you're going to. But as far as I can tell, and again, I'm not an expert, my experience is it's better than being on street drugs.
Yes.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. But it's like, but it should be the sort of program where you do get out. There are ways to get off of it. And heroin is a very haunting drug because what happens, there are people that are off of it for 10 years. And they dream about being back on it again, and it's tough. And I've worked with some people on the street through churches where we've dealt with a lot of people that had addiction. We'd go feed them once or twice a week, give them clothing, and pray with them, whatever we could to help them.
Right.
And man, there were some sad, heartbreaking stories of some people that they stopped doing it, they got off it, and then they went. That's heroin, that is, and then they went back and they used it one time and they died because there was more than their body could take.
Right.
And it's just a nightmare. It really is bad at the rate of people that are dying still in this country from it. And you're right. It's better to be in a methadone clinic than to be out in the street shooting this stuff. But I have the same. I'm trying to think of the name of the drug that Narcan was. It Narcan. We some of it is certified to pass out Narcan. I have a very strict view on that. Okay. That if you need to be Narcan, you also need to be locked up because you broke the law. You're going to save someone's life, okay? Because they broke the law, they should be incarcerated. And I hate to say it, but you broke the law. We saved your life. We got to deal with this now because there are people that were getting Narcan three times.
I don't know about jail, but maybe treatment. Because I'm just not of the opinion that if you have to Narcan somebody, you have to send them to jail. I mean,
if you Narcan them because they OD'd on heroin, well then they certainly have qualified for being incarcerated. Whether you like it or not. Because if you just keep Narcanning them, you're just going to keep doing it,
Look, the reason we have drugs, the reason drugs are outlawed is not because of what drugs do to people personally. It's because of what people who need to keep feeding their addiction do to the rest of us, okay?
Absolutely. I agree 100%.
If you can, look, if you have all the resources in the world, you want to be a rock star and stay home and snort coke and shoot heroin, and you're not going to bother anybody. No one will go looking for you, all right? It's only when you go looking for someone's gold, right? Only when you go looking for someone's wallet, you break into their car, things like that, then it becomes a problem. If you want to get high, get high.
Yeah.
But
that's why district attorneys have been talking about diversion for drug court and all of that because it's the better way to deal with addiction than jailing them.
But at the same time, we got to jail you if you steal things.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's my opinion.
My daughter, she wasn't shooting, but she was addicted to popping pills. She had to get squared away and straightened out and stuff, And it's tough to watch a loved one go through it. It really is.
Oh, sure.
And I was at a gas station about 4 years ago when I heard the people in the gas station down south end saying, "Well, I called the cops, let them deal with it." I should have minded my own business, but as I walked out, I saw this guy sitting in his car, hunched over the wheel, okay? I looked at this guy. He was purple. I'm talking about purple. And he was dead. He was out of it. And I couldn't get in his car. I pounded on his door, and the door popped open. I shook this guy, and I pulled him out of ODing. He was dying. And he was so upset with me because they say that when you're going into that place, that it's the best high you've ever had.
Right.
But unfortunately, you're dying at the same time. This guy had death written, and he was so upset with me. And he said, "Oh, I was just sleeping." he was on the road to glory, man. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like it before.
Hey, man, we got to take this next call. We appreciate you calling.
Thanks for the call. Have a good day.
Thank you. Appreciate it. 508-996-0500. A lot of great calls on this topic. Good evening.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, can we talk again about how people leaving of the city of New Bedford?
Sure.
Yes, why is everybody leaving? Does the mayor even know what's going on about everybody getting these job positions that have no qualifications? Everything's public information. I heard we have a new superintendent of water that does not have the qualifications to become the superintendent of water. I was looking up online, which obviously everything's public information.
Sure.
And the guy has treatment 1 as of January of 2022 and distribution 1 as of September 2022. Now, people that are qualified are not going to apply for this position because it's clearly stated that you need a T4 and a T4 and a D4 info to apply for this position.
Do you know
but
what
yet,
this is?
here's this person that does not have any of these qualifications. Again,
Vaguely familiar.
you can look and it's public information.
So they're like license. Those are types of licenses.
Yeah.
Yes, you need a license. You need a license to be assistant super. And I'm sorry,
And
a
everything that's done
superintendent
is
of
under
water.
your license. So it's weird. It's weird. There's got to be people under that person that are more qualified than the person, if what you're saying is true.
Well, you think that these people would be able to walk into a water facility and run the plant. These people right now that we just hired can't even run the plant. They cannot be there alone because the city of New Bedford is a T4 plant, which you need a T3 license to run the
Interesting.
plant. I'm
Wow,
sorry,
that's
I'm sorry.
very
To
no.
work
That's
as a
very
plant.
interesting.
Interesting.
It's, oh my God, look at it. Look under professional licenses. Look under people like superintendent of water, assistant superintendent of water, anybody. It's all public information. Everything's there for all of us to see. So how do these people get these jobs? It blows my mind.
So did they get? Let me ask you a question
I
because
don't know. Like,
okay.
you tell me. Like, I'm looking because this is what I do. I know somebody, like, people have applied for this position.
Okay.
And they did not get interviewed for it.
And they're qualified, the people that didn't get interviewed?
Well, they're not qualified, but they're more qualified than the people that got interviewed.
Wow.
So I will tell you something. I mean, you're impressing me because I don't have. You have more knowledge than I do on this, and I'm glad you're sharing it with
This
us.
is all stuff. No, this is public information. Look on the city website, and then you can look under professional licenses. It's all there. Like, you look who has what, and nobody has anything. Look, and it's a disgrace because I'm a taxpayer. I pay my fair share. I have plenty of properties, and what we pay is insane.
And
water rates are
and water and it's one of the most essential government services
Water
you can
is more
provide.
important than wastewater. We will put it that way.
Yeah.
And what I see right now is that this person that I looked up has wastewater licenses, but not water, which is a T1, and T1's absolutely nothing. I could go get my T1 license, and I didn't absolutely. You could get your T1
Hey,
license. Anybody could get their T1 license because you need nothing.
even McCarthy can get it. Anyone can get it, right?
You and you, we can all get them. And it's sad, but this is, like, does the mayor not know what's going on in our city? Because all I know is I remember getting my water bill, and there was this Justin Chica, whatever you want to call his name. I'm not 100% sure how to say it.
Okay.
And they had this pamphlet. It said his background, this superintendent of wastewater. How come we don't have that for water?
Isn't he the? I
don't know what he is. He can be whatever in the hell he says he is. But I'm just going back to what I remember seeing in my water bill.
Yes.
And he said assistant superintendent. Oh, sorry. Was it superintendent or assistant? I'm not 100% sure.
I thought he's the assistant commissioner at now.
No, but this is when it came in our water bill.
Oh, okay.
So he was something with wastewater. And here we are. We got this big pamphlet of him and our water bill saying, like, his qualifications, all his licenses, what he's done, who he is. How come we don't have that for a superintendent of water?
It's interesting.
Blows my mind because we hire unqualified people.
Yeah.
Why? My water bills are not going down. And what's more important than the water quality of all the residents of New Bedford and our surrounding towns. There's
Absolutely
nothing more
crucial.
important than that.
You're right about that, ma'am. Absolutely.
Hey, ma'am, this is a great call. Unfortunately, we got to take a break. I do appreciate you calling in.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was a great call. Yeah.
Our news department was listening to that.
No kidding.
Right?
Listen to us live.
I've gotten some. This is a great call night.
Marcus, we always talk about it when we leave. We love Friday nights here.
Friday nights we get we just for some reason the calls that come in on Friday are just the best.
They really are.
Let's go back.
Don't ruin it.
Good evening. You're live.
Chris, Marcus, how you doing?
Hey,
today?
Tom. Tom,
Oh,
I can only.
Tom, you're going to have to hold you to the next hour, right?
Yeah, Tom. I know whatever you're going to say is going to require us to talk at length, and I don't have that time at this juncture.
Can you hold over?
So can you call
I'll
back
call
at
you
9?
back. I'll
All right,
call you
great.
back.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So
Tom's always great.
I don't do that for everybody.
No. But I appreciate that he'll call back.
Yeah, I appreciate that he'll call backs. Yeah, I'm just.
He might be able to shed some light on this for us.
Yeah.
What I'm curious is, are these people having to get waivers from the city council? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tom will know.
We had. I'll talk about this a little bit in the next hour.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't have time to get into it.
Right.
But
you have time to get into not getting into it.
I have time to get it exactly.
Right.
I have time to explain how little time I have. All right, let's take a
Thereby
break.
filling that little time you have.
Here's what's happening this week on
Never fails. You try and you try, but sometimes
It is. But look, it's no small thing to have these drinking water licenses, right? It's no small thing. Look at the towns. Even when you have all the most.
a friend that called that call a very direct accusation, which I think it was.
I do too. I agree.
Interesting call. I enjoyed it. It was an interesting call.
Look, there's already
we gotta go.
There's even problems when you have all the right licenses.
Yeah.
Right. Never mind when you don't. Right.
Exactly.